Welcome back to We Are Unique Autism Show, and I'm talking with Callie and Andrew today about the challenges that people face on the autistic spectrum, especially girls who are possibly on the spectrum. I know there's a lot of girls and women I meet throughout my daily life who really struggle to get an assessment and to get a diagnosis of autism, and a lot of women mask it quite well. I remember a couple of years ago I met a lady who was a very professional lady, and she was doing an interview, and I said to her, are you here to do an interview? She says, no, I'm not here to do an interview. I work for this company, I'm on the autistic spectrum. So for me, you know, it's really difficult to find or to acknowledge, even to recognise that somebody is on the spectrum. So when we meet people on a day-to-day basis, we don't automatically know that they're on the spectrum, do we? Because you can't see the condition, because it's so difficult. So at the moment, Callie, you're going through an assessment for a diagnosis of autism. Tell us a little bit about that. Has it been a roller coaster?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it's been difficult, stressful.
Yeah, there's a lot of processes we've had to go through, but luckily I know one of the top professionals who does do diagnosing for autism, Dr. Carol Stock, and I got in contact with her probably after a couple of months that I was with Kelly, because I did sort of have concerns that maybe, you know, she might need an assessment. So we've gone through like a questionnaire.
Was it like a sort of like a pre-screening?
Yeah, pre-screening questionnaire. So there's a lot of tick box things you can score, sort of out of different scales of how you know, like a 1 to 5 scale kind of thing, you know, how much it affects you or something like that. And then there was also a telephone consultation we had with a nice lady in London, asked kind of similar questions but more in depth maybe, just to, you know, get more information. And then from that a report was compiled, so we now have that kind of like report, and from there there needs to be a few more assessments done as far as I'm aware, and probably what's called an ADOS assessment, which usually takes about an hour. It's just to you know, assess.
So how long do you think the process will take now to get a diagnosis? Is it going to be a couple of months or?
Yeah, I mean it probably
What, a couple of months?
Yeah, just depends when we can get slotted in for the assessments really, but like I say, luckily because I know someone, it's easier to, you know, get that a bit quicker perhaps. But yeah, probably a few months, because there's a few different processes we have to go through, you know, consultations with probably a couple of different people still.
Yeah. And what does it mean for you, Callie, to get a label of autism? What would it mean? Would it make a difference to your life?
Yeah, it would make a difference, and I know what's wrong with me, because I know I'm different. I'm not like everybody else.
So it's that acceptance, and I think it's really important what Callie's just said there. When I remember when I go back years ago before I got diagnosed with autism, it was a real struggle for me to know that I was different, like Callie said, and to get that label. I remember coming out of the offices of Simon Baron Cohen when I got diagnosed, and when he told me that I got autism, me and my mum broke down crying. We were really upset because it was such a relief. It's not that having the label, it's knowing that having that label, then knowing you're accepted in society, and knowing that you can say to somebody, look, this is the reason why I behave this way, or this is the reason why I do X, Y and Z, is because I'm different. And for you, Callie, when you get a label, obviously you know that you're on the spectrum, and you know that you may have autism. Do you think it will change anything about you once you've got the label?
No.
I think at least then she'll know what to say to people, you know, whereas at the moment it's a little bit up in the air,
yes,
you know, to what's going on with the diagnosis. So at least then, you know, if someone questions her, at least she'll know what to say to them. I have autism, or, you know, whatever, like, at least you'll know what to say, and then hopefully they can understand what that is. Not everyone does, but hopefully, you know, she has a label she can actually then tell someone if they're questioning, let's say, her behaviour or anything at all. at least she has an answer for them.
Yeah, so if she's in a difficult situation, then she could probably show an autism alert card, just to say, you know, this is the reason why I'm doing this is because I have autism. You could show them the alert card, and they could read that card for that. So, could you tell me what sort of challenges Callie and probably you face when Callie struggles with difficulty and stressful situations? Would she have any like meltdowns or panic attacks or? Yeah,
I mean, to be honest, we have had a lot of stressful situations even recently as well, and she does find, I mean, even small situations with even a small amount of stress can be amplified for Kelly. You know, so something that would be just maybe every day for someone else could stress Kelly out a lot, and then could make her go into sort of a meltdown or an outburst, which it's very hard to then talk to her when she's in that state. You know, it's kind of hard to kind of bring her back from that. So you kind of have to just kind of let it play out and just let her calm down from that, and then, you know, but usually it's quite a fast, it usually happens, you know, goes on for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, and then she'll calm down quite quickly. But I found it is very hard to actually try and talk any sense into her when she's in that state.
Yeah, so Callie, when you get this meltdown or panic attack, how does it make you feel?
Angry.
Just angry?
Yeah.
And do you have to run away from that situation, or do you have to go into a different room?
I have to go into a different room and end up hitting things because I get angry.
Yeah. You just see red, don't you?
Yeah,
you suddenly
I do see red.
Yeah, so how do you calm yourself down from that situation?
Just sit quietly for a bit and calm myself down.
So would you listen to some music or?
Just go on my phone or something like that.
I think that's something that we can work on really with Kelly, because obviously I don't think she has any real defined ways of calming herself down. You know, when she gets stressed out in this kind of situation, she'll start shouting and screaming, and you know, and because she doesn't know what to do, I guess, and how to calm herself down, or maybe why she's getting like that. So I think it's really important that we work on ways that she can manage that when she gets into that state.
And that's one of the most things with people, especially women on the spectrum or anybody on the spectrum, because Callie can articulate and she can talk and she can communicate quite effectively. People think that there's nothing wrong with you because they can't see that hidden condition. So you've got two hidden conditions at the moment. You've got dyslexia, which is a hidden condition, and also you've got a learning disability, which is a hidden condition, and also possibility you may have autism, which is another hidden condition. So you could have three conditions in total. So just stepping away from that, what sort of hobbies and interests do you like, Callie?
I like vintage clothes, like 1940s and 50s, and like rock and roll weekends. I like the music.
So is it would you say that's sort of like an obsession?
Yeah,
or?
It's not an obsession, but I do really enjoy that sort of thing. I like being different.
Different, yeah. Yeah, and it's okay to be different.
Yeah.
We're all different, and that's what the show is about. It's called We Are Unique, and we are all different. And throughout the show, we'll be talking about different conditions, different disabilities, and also highlighting things which we just mentioned with Callie and Andrew about autism and how difficult it is to A, get a diagnosis, and B, to see that you're different. And just on a final question, if you had the right support and help, what would be your ultimate dream job?
Working in a vintage shop.
Working in a vintage shop.
Like doing all the window displays and bits and pieces.
Would you want to serve customers?
No.
No?
No.
Because you found that too stressful and causes a lot of anxiety. But you'd rather do more of the creative side.
Yeah.
So like dressing the window displays and making the shop look nice. And
working with the dresses. You like the dresses, don't you, and things.
I just try them on.
So would you be modelling them?
Yeah, I'll be modelling them.
Modelling them?
Yeah.
Would you be designing them and making them?
No.
No. So just modelling them and just dressing the shop up, making it look nice. Well, Callie, thank you for joining me today on today's show and being my first guest. It's a pleasure to have you on. And Andrew, thank you for joining me as well. Thank you for joining me today on We Are Unique Autism Show. Next month I'll be talking more about disabilities, conditions and raising the awareness of autism. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, please do email us on wau@europentv.com. And Andrew and Callie, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. You've been on my first show. It's been great.